walk up to the top. Spectacular views once you get up there. So this is a good one to start with.
What about the media then?
Yeah.
Nicer? Challenging?
More challenging? Yes. Also beautiful. There are 7 peaks along here. Syvknudsturen. They've just had a few weekends ago. They had Syvknudsturen. You can actually do 7 peaks along the fjord here. You could start there, or you could start at Leafjell and go. You have to organise transport though once you get to the other end, right? So there's lots of beautiful walks to do. There's a fantastic app called ut.no. ut.no. It's the Tourist Association's app. It has every single walk in Norway. So when you download the app, it'll say, do you want to walk close to where you are now? And you go, yep. And it'll tell you all the walks in that area. And then it tells you degree of difficulty, green, blue, or red. It tells you how far they are, tells you where to park. Fantastic. The other one to download is, of course, the weather app, yr.no, yr.no, because, of course, we need to check the weather the same morning. Because, as you know, we could have 4 seasons in one day. So what you want to know is, hour by hour, what's the weather going to do today when I'm going out? It's going to take me all day. I really want to know what the weather's going to be doing, right? It makes such a difference if you've got the correct equipment and you've got the right information before you go on these walks. I met an Italian family who had walked up to the Pulpit Rock, not realising that there's nothing when you get to the top. They had nothing with them, and they had a baby strapped in one of these, what do they call them? These things you strap your babies in now.
Baby Bjorn?
No, not the baby Bjorn. They have like
a rock.
Yes, baby rock. So one baby here and one in a carrier, and they walk up. They were there for hours. It started to rain. They got no food, no water. They were just lucky that there was a stream they could take water from. Of course, by the time they get back down, Mum's hysterical. She's absolutely hysterical. The children are hysterical. You think he's going to get her hiking again? So this is what I'm saying. It's so important to go equipped. Makes all the difference. Also along our coastline, from Sula all the way down to Egersund, you've got 70 kilometres of beach. This is a beautiful trip to do in the car. An hour and a half drive along the coastline down to Egersund. Then you can come back up on the E39, which will take you an hour. But along the coastline here, you'll find various areas which are definitely worthwhile visiting. If you see on page 12, Seeleborg, 144, there's a huge old German bunker there from the Second World War, where there's tunnels, but you need to take a torch because they go deep and they're dark. So lots of things along the coast to have a look at.
Indeed. Is it a walk into the tunnel?
Yeah, it's just a little path that takes you over to where they start.
Kids with it.
Yeah, they would. Especially when you take the torch and go exploring. From Hellestø, if we go to page 10, you'll see 128. Hellestø, for those of you who have dogs, you can actually take the dog off the leash at Hellestø at certain times of the year. Definitely worthwhile knowing the dog leash laws in Norway if you do have dogs, because there's certain areas where you can take them off all the time. Sørmarka has a huge area where you can take dogs off the leash all year round. But But from Hellestø, you can walk along the top to Sela and Bora. Beautiful walk along. So that's 128.
Oh, back on my...
Yeah, back on page 10.
So there's a walk, is it?
Yeah, so you walk, there's a path that will take you from one beach to the other.
Oh, okay.
Just 7.
So yeah, you can walk over to Sela if you want to do a long walk, if you walk to Bora. We've got the most beautiful beaches in Norway on our coastline. These beaches you won't find anywhere else in Norway. You find some white beaches up in Lofoten, but of course it's even colder. Did anyone arrive last summer? Did any of you move here last summer? Okay, so we need a little reality check. Because for those of you who arrived last summer,
Hi, everyone.
yeah, we need to let you know that that was the best summer ever on record. Yeah?
30 degrees in July.
Yes. So we need to make sure that you don't expect it to be the same this year. Because on average, we have 16 to 18 degrees in this region. In summer. 16 to 18. I've had 8 degrees on Christmas Eve and 8 degrees in the middle of July. Last summer, even I went swimming in the sea. I think it was 12 years since I last swam in the sea here. So 16 to 18 degrees is what you can expect. Anything over that, yay, bonus.
Always come to Oslo, where we easily get 23 degrees in the water, where we do not have these beaches. I'm so envious. I didn't even know about them.
Really? Well kept secret. Of course, if the summers were like last year, there'd be hotels on all of them, and we would be a charter destination, right? Because they are beautiful, our beaches, I have to say. They match beaches in Australia. They do.
There were Charlie Peoples, 18 degrees here, like 22 in the mainland.
Is it water here? Really? Because of the windy factor.
18 degrees in Poland, quite cool.
Yeah.
And here, I feel very comfortable.
That's good because you're acclimatised there. That means you're acclimatised. What happens here, because we've got the wind most of the time, of course, also that can make it feel colder here. Like yesterday, I think it was about 10 yesterday. Because of the wind, I mean, it was 3, right? So that we constantly have wind here. This is why I'm saying having windproof clothing is super important. Underwater at the beach is good. Excellent. Okay, let's go back to page 12 and just want to show you 194. I don't know if any of you have been down here yet to Sokndal. Are you bringing that up, Catherine? So Sokndalsstrand is another word for it. In 2003, they joined the International Slow movement. Does anyone know, have you heard of the slow movement? Slow food, slow TV, yeah? So it's an international movement where the idea is to reduce the hustle and bustle of everyday life. And Sokndalsstrand, they joined in 2003, so I'm not sure how stressed the 3,000 people living there were prior to 2003, but very little stress now. It's a beautiful little village. The picture that you normally see is the one from the coast, because it's right on the North Sea there. On the inside of these buildings is this. So there's a hotel here, there's cafes, there's arts and craft shops. beautiful place to visit if you've got visitors or you want something to do on a Sunday.
And how long will it take you to drive?
An hour and a half. So you would take the E39 down to Egersund, and then it's half an hour from Egersund. Yeah.
And the cat is doing on Sunday.
Yes.
Yes. 1.5 hours from Stavanger.
From Stavanger, 1.5 hours. Anyone been there? No? No. When you're down this area, you can then drive another 15 minutes to a little fjord called Fjord, where you find Helleren. You won't see it on the map because it's not written, so I'm trying to confuse stuff in there. These two buildings are from the early 19th century, and they're built underneath the mountain, so it hangs over them. Where is that? Where is it? It's actually not on the map, but you see it says Sogndalsand, you see the lighthouse, and there's a little fjord that goes in the side there, and you see there's no name on it. No, this one. This one.
Where it says boo or where it says? Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so a little further down or this one?
Yeah, this one here.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Fjord.
And you drive on there, or is that a walk you walk?
No, you can drive straight there. Car park there, there's a little kiosk serving ice cream. This belongs to the museums. You can actually go into these buildings and see how people lived there then. It would have been a tough life because it's quite a rugged fjord, this one. So if you're down at Sogndalsand, definitely worthwhile taking the extra 15 minutes to get down to see this. It's a bit different maybe to what people are used to. Some of you might have already been to the Abbey, Stavanger. So on page 10, you see number 87. And to the left of it, you see it says Stavanger. This is Norway's oldest abbey. In the weekends, they do tours of the abbey, telling you about the ghosts that reside there, things like that. If you ever have a chance to go to a concert in the chapel, I highly recommend it. Fantastic acoustics. There's wine bottles that have been put inside the wall, so the acoustics here are just amazing. So very popular for weddings. So if you're out there on a Saturday, you see a lot of people getting married out there. There's a hotel just before you get to the Abbey. You can stop off there and have some lunch. Very nice hotel. You can drive all the way up to the Abbey.
Where would those concerts be held?
They have Christmas concerts out there. They would be in Region Stavanger's website because they have everything that happens. Also, our newsletter would also put them in. Yeah.
The Christmas concert.
But they have some fantastic Christmas concerts out there. Just amazing. You've been to a concert, Catherine, out there? No?
No, but I've heard wonderful things.
Yeah. So this is definitely worth a visit. Then, 5-minute drive from the Abbey, you see there's a lighthouse. Yeah? This is Fjørløy Fyr, and it's next to Fjørløy Fort. Fjørløy Fort used to belong to the military, and about 3 years ago they released it to the public, and they've made some paths around the area. So you can walk around, and you'll walk around, and there'll be cannons and bunkers, and children find it quite exciting. You walk up to the top of the hill, and you just get this amazing view out to the North Sea, into Ryfylke, just amazing. So if you're at the Abbey, take the little detour over to the lighthouse and this area here. It's well worth visiting.
The island of Brennan has a lot of family walks.
Yeah, it does. And they'll all be on the app. All the walks. If you're on Brennan on the island and you go onto the app, the Ut.no, it'll give you all the walks that you can do there. On page 8 and 9, you see Ryfylke. So this area here is Ryfylke. So when you hear people talking about Ryfylke, it's this. These islands are amazing to spend the day with your bike, picnic, and just riding your bikes around the island. You catch the passenger boats from downtown Stavanger with your bike on the boat, and you spend the day on the island and come back in the afternoon. Great way to spend a nice Sunday.
Which one?
All of them. The boats go to all of them.
All
These little islands.
Is this the boat from town?
Yeah, which boat?
No.
Okay, what's the boat?
They leave, you know the ferry that goes to Tau? Next to the ferry, there's a grey building, Columbus. That's where all the passenger boats leave from. There's a lot of people that live on these islands and actually commute and work in the city. So the passenger boat, you can actually take your bike on the boat, and you spend the day on one of these islands, explore, and then come back in the afternoon. Yes. Yeah. Nando is Nando.
It's really good, and it's for a really easy walk.
So that's a great day out to do that.
So is it the passenger boat to Tow?
No,
It's a passenger boat to
to the island.
Just in the
You
island?
can pick which one you want to go to.
Okay.
Yeah, because it stops at all of them. No. It would take an hour and a half. Yeah. You didn't go, no, because you did the rounds, yes. Yeah. So then it would be 3 hours. But if you get off, yeah. For instance, if you go to Foggen is quite a small island, and it's a nice island to bike around. There's no number on it, but number 79. So Foggen is a lovely little island. Unfortunately, the shop there's just gone bankrupt, so that means you need to take everything with you.
There's no shops.
There's no shop anymore. Hjelmeland They have a spa hotel, so if you want a nice weekend away, just Saturday to Sunday, recommend the spa hotel at Yellowknife, right on the fjord, absolutely beautiful. They do packages where you get dinner and spa treatment, and it's very good. Indoor pool there. That's also a nice weekend away. Oh yeah, definitely. There's a pool. There's some pools. Yes, yeah. And it's where it's located, right on the shore. So, you have lots of things to explore and get into the Norwegian lifestyle of getting out there regardless of the weather. Because actually, you can be outside in any type of weather as long as you dress correctly. You get so much energy when you've been out and you know it's really horrible, but you've made the effort, and then you go out and oh yes, this is fantastic. Come back inside, light the candles, make some warm balls. Very nice. Does anybody have any questions? No, but they should have one, shouldn't they? There was one that the tourist running put out called Happy Hiking, and that was English. I don't know if they still produce it, but just to do a little plug for the International Network of Norway, we have some copies of some books that we give to new families when they arrive, and there's a section with weekend trips for families, day trips, hiking in the Stavanger region. So if you want us to buy missions, we can give you one of those books, and it's got some great ideas for families out there. So, okay, just swing on by. We're talking about the Welcome to Stavanger region. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So, it is. Everything, I mean everything, where to find a dentist, healthcare, it's really helpful. I've been here 6 years and I still reference it once in a while. So, yeah. Any other questions?
And I'd ask you, where is a great place for fishing?
For fishing?
So we moved from Alaska, we understand our fishing will be a little different here, but we just need to find either a tour guide or someone that tells you how to fish the ocean.
So I have the most amazing event for you.
Oh, what do we got?
19th of May.
Okay.
We've got hunting and fishing. Go into our activity calendar and register yourself.
So hunting and fishing.
Hunting and fishing in Norway, together with the Hunting and Fishing Association. I guess he'll have all those bits.
My husband just passed the Norwegian Texas class, so I'll be into that one.
So if you go onto our activity calendar, you just register there.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Randi. I think everyone else is marking in here, but it's fun because even when you've been here a while, there's still something new, like the houses under the fjord. It's just something new to see. So thank you. Next month, we're having a really important morning connection, and I hope that everyone's able to come. It's basically about surviving the wave of spring with country. A lot of families that are leaving, it's just the nature of expat life. But just as hard as it is for those families who might be leaving and transitioning, there's also a lot of families that are still here, and they have to go through the process of saying goodbye. And so Carol Wallace, our middle school principal, in the past, she's helped parents understand some of the strategies for helping children manage transition. And so if you're able to come back for that one, it'll be a good way to kind of end the year and go into the summer with all these new hiking ideas. So thanks for coming. Lighter than the last time I was here. Today it's all about energy through outdoor living. So, because you're now in a region where you have a lot of opportunities to go and get out there and explore. And of course, for a lot of people, they're not used to the Norwegian lifestyle. On a Sunday, they might be used to going to spend the day in the mall or something. And of course, here, you need to find something else to do on a Sunday, because the malls aren't open, right? Ja, men då får the book I've given you, if you have a look, every red circle is a hike or tourist attraction. So you see lots of red circles here with numbers in them. And then at the back of the book, it tells you what you've got at that particular circle and what facilities you have there. And then on page 14, it has what the different signs name in English for you. Very important in Norway when you're out and about hiking that you know what you need to take with you on your hike. And so this will let you know, is there a restaurant where I'm going, or do I need to take my backpack with food? And generally it's the latter. Norway is not like the Alps where, you know, at the top of the mountain is a lovely chalet and you can have lovely goulash soup or whatnot. When you got to our mountains, generally it's nature. Right? So this is very, very useful for you. I'm going to concentrate mainly on what you're doing in our region, Hordaland, because that's where you're going to be spending most of your time. But I thought I would just take you quickly into Hordaland and to Hardangerfjord and go to page 4 and 5. The page numbers on the side. Has anyone been to Hardanger yet? Good. You've been there? In Hardanger, you have Skjoldafjorden, which is Norway's third largest glacier. This glacier is 1,682 meters above sea level, and you can go skiing here in the summertime. They also do glacier guided tours here as well. This is a 3.5-hour drive approximately from Stavanger. And you know that travelling in Norway requires a bit of planning, because it often will entail a ferry somewhere. So this one you are going by ferry first from Loftavika to Arsborgen, and then about a 3-hour drive from here into Odda and Hardanger. Odda was actually where I was born. It's a little place, 4,000 people. Right, I'm just going to show you some pictures of this. It's absolutely beautiful. This is in May. We're coming up to May now. May and June is the most beautiful time to go there because all the apple blossom will be out. A lot of the apples that are produced here that you see in the supermarkets in September might be from Hardanger, from Stavanger. On both sides of the fjord you have lots and lots of farms with apple orchards, and in the summer you drive through and you'll see at the side of the road there's some cherries and apples. You leave your money in a little letterbox and you take what you want. Honestly. So beautiful if you're going to go May, end of May and June, because it is stunning. There is a very nice hotel to stay at there, which is called Hotel. I can bring that up actually to show you. Is that it? Yeah, it's about a 20-minute drive from Odda out the fjord, so about here. Yeah. So the hotel I'm talking about is at the end of the page there. It's about a 25-minute drive out from Odda to Ullensvang. What I might do is just send some links to Catherine, and that way you can forward it to everyone.
Sounds perfect.
In Ullensvang, Lofthus, this area, this is where our composer Edward also got a lot of inspiration to write his music. So he spent a lot of time in this area. Lots of nice walks to do here. The one that they are most famous for is Trolltunga.
Look at.
Which is this one. 50,000 people walked up there last year. This is an all-day event. It takes 4 hours up and 4 down. 4 for Norwegians. So Trolltunga is actually just by Odda. So it's a 5-minute drive from Odda, and you'll see it signposted up to Trolltunga. Yeah. So just 5-minute drive from Odda is Trolltunga. You park and then you walk straight up.
I was going to say, I think you meant climb, not walk. Climb straight up.
Well, some people take the old, there's a, like not a railway track, but they used to cart things up in a wagon up the side of the mountain. So some people walk up that trail, right? But there is a winding track. Or climb. Anyone been here? No. This is one that we can only do in summer. Particularly this year it's going to be a short season because of course we have a lot of snow this year. There's more snow this year in this area than they have for a long time. So I'm guessing even when you're walking up there in July there will still be snow in places. But this will be June, July, August. Walking, hiking here, I must say, very important to have proper hiking boots. We see a lot of people walking up in sneakers and there's no support for your ankles. You need proper hiking boots with ankle support. Because actually it's just typically coming down that's going up, and much harder on your knees and ankles. So getting proper hiking boots is really important. We see a lot of sprained ankles. People coming down from the pulpit rock with their handbag over their shoulder and little sandals with a little heel. It just doesn't work very well. The proper equipment is important. So this is their most famous walk in this area. The road that takes you down into Odda is the valley, and this is the Valley of Waterfalls. It's called the Valley of Waterfalls. And by number 13, where you see the number 13, you find this particular one. Sorry, I'm a bit slow on these maps because I don't actually know how to operate the So this particular waterfall is Lortefoss, and it is exactly where you see the number 13 coming down from the Odda. Spectacular. And this is just one of many waterfalls in this area.
Is this also the one where they have some people in national costumes and play during the summer?
No.
Which one is that?
That's when you do the Norway in a nutshell from Flom, going back up. There's a very nice tour that you can do from Bergen called Norway in a nutshell, where they go and you take the train and you pass this waterfall. And actually, what the woman is supposed to be, are supposed to be the Norwegian trolls. The Norwegian male trolls, you see them outside the tourist shops with the long nose, right? But Norwegian female trolls, and they were just beautiful. They were called Hilda, weren't they? Long blonde hair, and they would entice men in behind the waterfall, and then they so these girls come out and you hear the Norwegian music, I think it's Grieg actually, and you see these girls trying to entice the men off the train. Very, very nice. So if you have a chance to do Norway in a nutshell, it's a beautiful tour. For those of you who enjoy biking, there's actually a bike ride called Rallarveien, which ends up down in Flom, and you also take that same train. It's a 90-kilometre bike ride, approximately, so it's an all-day event over the Stavanger. So I can send you links to that as well. For those of you who enjoy biking, it's a beautiful, beautiful trip. So well worth visiting Hardanger. Definitely well worth visiting. Let's go back into our region and go to page 10 and 11. Number 27 here is the Pulpit Rock. Who's been up there? This is, we say, a 2-hour walk up, 2 down. Norwegians who don't stop to take pictures walk in just under an hour. For people who aren't used to walking, who are used to spending their Sunday in shopping malls, it would take about 5 hours. I actually met a lovely Indonesian family on my way down from the Pulpit Rock in October, and I talked to her the following week, and it had taken them 5 hours up, and about 3 hours.
Is it unsafe to take children?
How old are the children? Yes. It is. So this is it on a busy day.
Sorry, I just wanted, because people mentioned that they thought it was dangerous, and I think it may be important to point out that we had Sherpas from Nepal that had fixed the... Did you say where?
Get into that. This is 604 meters above sea level, and 250,000 people walked up here last summer. 250,000. So in the weekends, in the summer months, it's like Paddington Station. You walk in a queue up and you walk in a queue down. Very annoying. If you go in the afternoon, there's no one there. So when we've organised walks within, we've actually gone after work, we've met at our taken the ferry over and we walk up there in the evening. Because of course in Norway, the evenings are light. And there's no one up there. So a good time to do it is in the afternoon. In the weekends, it's just super busy. You have to be really early to avoid the crowds. and then even coming down, they would have started going up. So it is a good idea to do this one when no one else is there. You get a completely different experience when there's very few people out on the plateau. As you mentioned, we have had Sherpas from Nepal for the last 4 years that have put steps in the most difficult areas. So it's much easier to walk up there now than it used to be. Yeah. And you'll see no fence. If you want to dangle your feet up, you're welcome. Because in Norway, we're big on what's our responsibility. So rather than... No one's ever accidentally fallen off. So from here, we take the ferry from Stavanger to Tau. So Stavanger to Tau is half an hour ferry ride. Then it's a 25-minute drive up to the car park. For this particular walk, you don't actually need your own car because there are shuttle buses that will take you up to the car park. So it's easy to get to, even without a car. And then you walk from the car park.
There's shuttle buses go like every hour, like 2 hours before.
They go very regularly. I think they're even half an hour in peak season. They go often. Yeah.
When you go in the afternoon, approximately what time do you leave to go out in the afternoon? About around that?
So that means you're up there about, you're at the car park about 5. You walk up, if you're used to hiking, you'll walk up in just over an hour or so. So you're up there by 6. Have all pictures, views, and then you walk back down. Okay, so you're back down by 7:30. Then you can go and have dinner at the paper store picked up at the academy because they have food there. That's a good way to do it. As I say, no one's ever accidentally fallen off. People have jumped off on purpose. Last year we thought that we did have the first accident when a Spanish chap fell off as we thought he did. It turns out that he had left a suicide note. So still today we can say no accidents. I have to say on a busy day when it looks like this and people have got dogs up there and it's like chaotic, then I wouldn't feel comfortable having children on the plateau. But if you go up when it's not so busy, it's perfect. Yeah. And I think 6 to 8 is a good age. Yeah. Because they're old enough to listen. They don't just...
It might be worth mentioning for those who have younger children. Once you get to the lodge, there are other trails besides just up to the plateau. So if you wanted to take one that's more inland and far away from the cliffs, there's good options for that too.
Yeah. And actually the Tourist Association have a activity park up there. So they do, you know, rock climbing, avalanching, kayaking on the lake, with the lake by the cabin. So lots of activities to do also by the cabin. Yes. Let's go further down the fjord to number 96, which is Hjärragbold, the boulder. Has anyone been there? So this one, slightly more challenging than the pulpit rock. This one takes for Norwegians, 3 hours up, 3 down. If you want to join in, we're going up there on the 7th of June. Last year we had 50 people joining us for this event. 1,000 metres above sea level, and if you're scared of heights, Photoshop yourself. Because it is difficult to get onto the boulder. There's a little ledge, you see the side, and it's 1,000 metres straight down. So you kind of have to clutch onto the rock there as you step onto the boulder. It's rounded, so you have to take a little step up onto it.
Have you done it?
I have. I have nightmares. My mother was so upset with me. How could you do that? You had 2 daughters. How could you do that? But I've done it. It was on my bucket list. But it is a spectacular walk. And in the summer months, you'll also see the base jumpers also walking up with you. If it's a good day, they'll walk up twice a day and take the shortcut down. This is one of the places in Norway where it actually is legal to base jump. Quite a lot of fatal accidents over here. Being cultivated for but this is an amazing walk, not for a 6 and 8 year old. So this one I would say is for more experienced hikers. To get here, you can catch the ferry from Lowley, and I'm going to send Catherine a link to this ferry because this is one that only takes a few, like I think it takes about 13 or 14 cars. So it's a small ferry that takes you all the way to the end of the fjord, and then you just drive up to the car park where you then start walking. In the summer months, there is a bus that will go in there through Sirdal, but it leaves at 8 in the morning and it comes back at 4, so that means you have to be back by 4, otherwise you're stuck there. This is actually a nice round trip to do, even if you're not going to walk up to the boulder. Take the ferry into Lysebotn and then come back up through Sirdal and drive back into town. It's a lovely round trip if you've got visitors here. Then you can stop off at Bjørkjedal, which is down here. Bjørkjedal is where we always have a little pit stop when we've been in Sirdal. They have a traditional Norwegian food here. There's a candle making factory. Children love it because they can make their own candles. And then carry on into town. You can go up through Sirdal and drive down, or you can do there's 2 ways. You can go by the fjord on the ferry.
It's the same car park.
Same car park.
That confused me. I thought it was a different.
No, it's just on the road. You can either go that way around or
only how you get there.
yes. I'm going to send you the link to that particular ferry. It's one of the few ferries that can walk.
And how long of a drive from?
So if you go up through Sirdal and drive to where you start your walk, that will take you about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes perhaps. If you take the ferry in, it's also a few hours. It's a long fjord, but you get to see the whole fjord. It's a beautiful fjord, and normally people only go to the Pulpit Rock. Everyone's probably done that, and you go to the waterfall beyond and collect the water and all that. But very few people have been all the way in. You pass Flørli. You see in the middle of the fjord here, there's a little picture of a cabin, and it says Flørli. This is where you do the walk, the 4,444 steps straight up the mountain. This is where Flørli is located. Then people walk halfway across the mountain to Blåfjell, which is the Tourist Association cabin, and then you walk into Hundredal the next day. So this is for people who want to do an overnight hike. The Tourist Association has cabins all over Norway. You can join the Tourist Association, that way you get to stay there for a more reasonable price than when you just go ad hoc. But it's all based on honesty. No one knows if you're there or not because there's no one working there. So you just leave your account number in a post box there and they will then deduct 100 or 150 pounds whatever it costs. But it's all based on honesty. No one you have your backpack with all your food in it and you make your food and you get it. Also, if you want to be early because they're very popular, so the best bedrooms are always occupied first. So if you get later, then you're stuck in a communal room where everyone's in there, sleeping bags spread out over the room. Yeah. There's a few of the Tourist Association cabins that are staffed where they do make food. Yeah. So there are a few that do that, but most of them are not. And also the Tourist Association cabins, they're not like the cabins that you see in Sirdal, that are like houses with all your mod cons. No, these are traditional Norwegian cabins. They often have an outdoor toilet, no electricity, etc. So some of them are very basic. Because if you've been to Stavanger and see some of the cabins that people are building up there and you think that this is what these are like, you'll be very disappointed. 140 is Månafossen. Fantastic time to go to Månafossen is now in May. Because all the snow is melting up the top of the mountains, that's going to be a spectacular waterfall when all the snow melts. Okay, this one, you need a car or friends with cars, because there's no public transport here. Okay? So this one is an hour and a half's drive into the car park, and it's the end of the road, so you can't mistake it. The road doesn't go any further than that. And then it's about a 20-minute walk up to the waterfall. This is not a difficult one. This is an easy one. You've been there?
Yes, there was a lot of ice.
A lot of ice.
1 month ago.
Oh, yeah. But too early to go. It would have been slippery. Yeah. 1.5 hours. Beautiful drive in there. Yeah. Yeah. But now is probably a better time to go because it won't be so icy. And as I say, throughout May now, when all the snow is melting up the top of the mountains, there's going to be more and more water in the waterfalls. So it takes 20 minutes to walk up here. Has anyone else been here? Oh, a lot of you. Have you done the walk above the waterfall? Yes. Because up above the waterfall, if you walk for another 40 minutes or so, you get to the valley behind, where also the Tourist Association have a cabin. The basement of this particular cabin is open all year round because you can go inside and eat your lunch inside in case it's raining. Because you know in Norway we still go hiking even though it's raining, right? If we plan to go on a bike ride on Sunday, we go regardless of the weather. We just dress for it. So you need proper outdoor clothing here. Wool next to your skin, and even in the summer when I go hiking in the mountains I have a woolen t-shirt because wool is the only thing that absorbs sweat. And of course when you hike you're going to sweat. And once you get to the top of the mountains often there's more wind, it could be colder up there than maybe what it is here. So if you've got a woolen singlet or t-shirt you're not going to be cold. So wool always on long hikes. You need also to have your windproof Waterproof pants in the backpack. They weigh nothing, but often you'll find them very useful if you get to the top and it's quite windy, because that will also keep warm. Waterproof clothing in Norway, particularly in this region, because do you know how many days of rain we have here on average?
A lot.
220. The only people who find it a positive experience moving here are people from Aberdeen and Bergen. Because Bergen has more rain. So getting proper waterproof clothing is important. You need to make sure it breathes and that it's also waterproof. And on Norwegian labels, it says waterproofness. And to cope with our conditions, it needs to be over 10,000 in waterproofness. So when you're buying waterproof clothing, have a look at the number. This is if you're going to be spending a lot of time. If you're duck in and out from shops, then you don't need to have 10,000 on waterproofness. But it is important if you are going to be spending time outside. So Månafossen is also a very nice walk to do. For people who aren't used to hiking, because not all cultures hike, we suggest that you start with 123, which is Dalsnuten. This is one that doesn't require too much planning, and it's a relatively easy walk to do. I say relative because it's all relative. I find it easy, other people might find it difficult. Who's been to Dalsnuten? Easy or difficult? Easy. Exactly. So this is a nice one to start off with. So for those of you who haven't been there,
While Randy's looking at this one, I'm just going to mention on Månafossen, some of you have been above the waterfall, but if you do plan on staying at the hytte, the cabin there's a river that runs right nearby. And if you're staying at that cabin along the river, you fish, or your spouse fishes, or your kids want to fish, you can do it for free in the river. So there's some places you have to pay to fish and get a permit, but fortunately if it's alongside a D&T cabin, you're good to go. So. Just one more thing to throw in the back. A fishing rod, some bait.
Excuse me. Where do you join the association?
The Stavanger Tourist Warning, if you just, an easier way is to Google Stavanger DNT and you'll get the link. But they are down, how do you explain it? They're underneath a roundabout.
yeah. So there's the theatre, there's a roundabout by Rogaland Theatre. Underneath the roundabout is where you find Stavanger Turistforening.
So that's the railway and walk from there.
Sorry?
Park at the railway and
yeah.
Could you send us some?
Yes. Yeah.
Also, if you join, they give you a significant discount on some of really good outdoor clothing that they have at their shop.
Yeah. And it's a fantastic association. They also do guided walks in English. So it's a super organisation, the DNT. Yeah. So Dalsnuten, once you get to the top, I would say 40 minutes to walk up there. Would you agree? Yeah. Ish? Great for children. Again, you need a car though, because there's no buses that go out here. So to get to Dalsnuten, you drive out to Sandnes, and then you come back out the other side of the fjord, and you see it signposted to Dalsnuten. There's a big lake by the car park there, so sometimes the challenge is to get children to walk past the lake, particularly this time of year, because of all the tadpoles and frogs that are there. And then it's a 40-minute